Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Trichitrambalam from JSS Institute of Naturopathy and Yogic Science. On the day of World Tuberculosis Day, we are conducting the health talk. So, hereby, I would like to call upon Dr. Preeti, Assistant Professor, JSS Institute of Naturopathy and Yogic, Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Dr. Tiruchitrambalam. So today we mark the day as one of the most important day, that is World Tuberculosis Day. And this is very important and very very important disease where we have to consider a lot because of its more amount of severity of whether it can spread and more amount of people getting undiagnosed. So we all know the health awareness days is being created so as to bring about an awareness and bring this awareness to this public and make everyone know about what is TB, how to identify a person as having TB, what can be done if a TB can be if a TB is diagnosed, and what are all the projects which has been released in India which can help control or eradicate TB. So here we are in the year 2025, and 2025 year has released the theme, yes, we can end TB by committing, investing, and delivering the exact thing. Next slide. Yes. So let's see why March 24th is being selected as a World Tuberculosis Day. March 24th, 1882 was the year when Dr. Robert Koch identified from the sputum smear the most important pathogenic bacteria, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis bacteria. So this day he announced to the world that this particular devastating disease of lungs is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And hence, in remembrance of that, every year, March 2024, it has been considered to create an awareness on World Tuberculosis Day. And this year, again, as I said, the theme is, yes, we can end TB by committing, investing, and delivering the exact process. Next slide. Coming on understanding what is tuberculosis. Basically, everyone as a public health concern, every normal layman is aware about the disease tuberculosis. As a layman, we know the tuberculosis is a condition where the person will be coughing a lot, having very progressive weight loss will be there, and it is very contagious too. So here, let's understand the definition of definition of tuberculosis, that is a contagious bacterial infectious disease which is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Let's learn an interesting fact. we can observe that dated back to 2400 BC, that means 4000 years back, the skeletal remains of ancient civilizations, especially Egypt, in Egypt and all, there has been identified the traces of Mycobacterium tuberculi in their skeletal remains. That means we are right now in the year 2025 and we are still devastated or manifested by this Mycobacterium tuberculi infection. And how the transmission occurs. So usually this is also common and known to everyone that when a person coughs, especially an infected person coughs, sneezes or speaks, about one person if does that, a nearby 10 to 15 people can be affected by the disease, where they can inhale the particles containing this Mycobacterium tuberculi and the bacteria enters into the body. So the transmission rate or the chain of transmission is very strong in tuberculosis, where one person infected with TB can, if they cough, if they sneeze, or if they speak, can affect or can transmit the disease into 10 to 15 people if the present around him, he or she. Coming to the types, there is pulmonary TB and extrapulmonary TB as of to understand by us. So pulmonary TB means the TB mainly, as our symptoms are telling coughing, so affects the lung and most common, but not only lungs. The TB, Mycobacterium tuberculi, can take the blood route and travel to other parts of the body and cause and can result in extrapulmonary TB. That means it can affect kidney, it can affect spine, it can affect brain. So TB is not just one thing which affects the lungs, it can go extrapulmonary and cause the devastating, deteriorating effect on the body as well. Also, next slide. Now let's understand TB globally. So let's speak beyond nationally, that is globally. We can see in the slide it is being mentioned that 10 million people fell ill with TB in the year 2024, according to the statistics provided by World Health Organization. And among this 10 million was the 1.5 million death annually. And that too, the combination of TB with HIV has been identified a lot more among this 1.5 million. And among this 1.5 million deaths or 10 million people who fell ill, India, China, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Pakistan shares the more amount of incidents in these countries. And we can identify India as being showing 27% of the people. So the key fact is that since TB is the 13th leading cause of death worldwide, in India, it is the most commonly incident or prevalent disease observed. Next slide. So now that we have, next slide. So now that we have observed the spread of tuberculosis globally, let's understand from this picture the spread of tuberculosis across India. So we can see the statistics here. This is taken from this World Stop TB Partnership organization, where they have created interactive schedules. So they have every country's statistics in their interactive schedules. And when we type India, this is the result we can observe or see. And where we can see 28 lakh people were estimated to develop TB in the year 2023. And 3,23,000 people died because of TB in the year 2023. And the remaining statistics, as we can see, the tuberculosis situation is also prevalent along with HIV in India too. So beyond globally, TB is of course a global health emergency, but nationally, when considering the statistics of tuberculosis in India, it is also very well important to bring awareness about TB in India too. Next slide. The same Stop TB organization website have given another statistics which shows age and sex disaggregation of people with TB in India in the year 2023. And they have mentioned it is more common among 15 to 25-year-old females, and that is the incidence of developing TB was among this one. And so when they take the statistics, it is more commonly seen among the females. And the key drivers are what are the situations or which are the situations where a people can get exposed to a TB environment is a person with HIV, a person with undernourishment, a person who are living in crowded places like living in slum, and people with existing diabetic conditions, people with having addictions on tobacco as well as alcohol. So in these conditions, the people, the persons or the population are more prone to develop a tuberculosis. Next slide. So now that we have understood the global expansion and the India's incidence and prevalence of tuberculosis, now we will try to understand in stopping the transmission. So before stopping the transmission, we have to understand what is transmission. So this was already discussed where a person with TB, when they cough, sneeze, or speak, through their small water droplets or the droplets which are released during the sneezing, can be accidentally inhaled by the people around them and they can get infected. So close contact with untreated TB patients has to be carefully checked. Crowded areas, poorly ventilated spaces, when we are in such places, we have to check whether we are correctly protected ourselves from this droplet infection. And coming to the preventive aspect, yes, we can prevent. Of course, when we know what is the reason for transmitting TB into other people, of course, when we stop that, that is one of the major preventions. So, major preventions, if we can elaborate, maintaining a good hygiene. So, whenever we are exposed to a crowded areas, washing our hands, covering our mouth, and putting the used tissues in a separate bag can help. When we suspect a person who is coughing a lot and when we suspect something, we can avoid close contact with them and we can sleep in a separate room and air out our room very oftenly. So, whichever the TB medications are available, we can adequately take them. Then, in the workplace, if we suspect there is a TB patient, we can wear this N95 mask, which can filter out and which will be an easy screen for water droplets to prevent entry into our body. Then there is BCG vaccine that protects the children. This BCG vaccine, as such, is not a very effective one, but it is also effective. It's a controversial topic. But BCG vaccine is also found to be used as a preventive measure, especially for children. And WHO states that preventing TB starts with creating awareness. And hence, March 2020, March 24th, this day, most of the organizations, including World Health Organization, Center for Chronic Disease Control Organization, TB awareness program will be definitely releasing out handouts and programs so as to create an awareness. And we also, from our side, is creating an awareness to prevent TB. Next slide. So let's understand when we have to recognize the signs. So when we see ourselves or when we see our dear or near ones coughing lasting 3+ weeks, and if they cough sometimes with blood, then this is one of the major sign which has to be checked. And along with the cough, if they're having chest pain, fatigueness, weight loss, fever, and night sweats, this add on to the confirmation of TB. So the below pictures you can observe prolonged cough, chest pain, blood in the sputum, weakness, weight loss, fever, night sweats, as mentioned, have to be taken care. And if these symptoms are seen for lasting more than 3+ weeks, we have to call for action. Next slide. So vulnerable population, this also we have seen triggering populations or vulnerable populations. So people living with HIV, people living with HIV has been shown to have 20% higher risk of getting a TB infections. HIV is a virus, and when this virus manifests and the person develops AIDS, then what happens is that their immunity level is very much compromised. That means the ability of the body to control the infection, control the spread of infection is very less. Next, coming over to the refugees or migrants and homeless populations, where they are forced to remain all together in a controlled area, in a closed area, the chances of them getting a tuberculosis is more. Smoking people, diabetics, and malnourished individuals also has been found to develop tuberculosis very, what I say, speedily or fastly when compared to a normal individual. So the key fact which we can take from this is that 95% of TB deaths occur in low as well as middle income countries. Next slide. So when we can identify that we are at a risk. So when we can identify that is that, so when we are born in or frequently travel to countries where TB is common, including those of countries in Asia, then if we live or used to live in large group settings of homeless people along with that, then we work with high risk individuals like hospitals where there is more TB transmissions. Then if we have already diagnosed with weaker immune systems, then if we have recently spent a lot many time with the TB infected patients. So these are the conditions we can think that we are at risk for TB infection. Next slide. Coming to early detection saves life. So when we observe or when we think or when we see the signs and when we see the symptoms, we definitely have to go for diagnosis of tuberculosis. So basically, when the productive cough, which is lasting for more than 3 weeks, when we give the sputum for sputum examinations, the sputum can show the traces of Mycobacterium tuberculi. And we have a particular skin test, that is tuberculin skin test. And this also will be useful. It is very complementary test used in children to identify. Then we have a rapid molecular test like Gene Expert and TrueNat, which is very faster. That is, they give a 2-hour, a 2-hour result when we give this particular. This is a blood examination. 2-hour result will be given. So this test, rapid molecular test, can identify drug resistance tuberculosis. So we have a multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. We have rifampicin drug resistant tuberculosis. We have variety because day by day, people have developed resistance against certain drugs of tuberculosis too. So to identify those specific tuberculosis also, this rapid molecular test can be very helpful. So Stop TB organization, from where I have taken the statistics, have given a quote that delayed diagnosis fuels the TB spread. So diagnosis, when we think or when we see a sign or a symptom, immediate diagnosis if done will be very helpful in preventing TB. Next slide. So this is a picture showing we can do a blood test as well as a skin test. So blood test is a molecular test which gives us a result, and skin test is the patch test which can be done. And apart from that, the sputum test which can be done to identify the traces of Mycobacterium tuberculi. Next slide. So curing a TB. TB curing, once identified, it is a very long process and it is beatable, and we have to be very careful in the treatment. So the standard treatment involves 6 to 9 months of taking antibiotics, and that is collectively the DOT therapy. So all of you are very, very well aware about the DOTS therapy. And we have this revised RNPCP, that is Revised National TB control program, which is now called as the so NTEP, which is right now called as an NTEP, that is National Tuberculosis Elimination Program. So these both have brought about this DOTS therapy, that is directly observed treatment, short course for treatment of tuberculosis. So this includes 6 to 9 months of periodic providing of antibiotics to the patients. And because since there is a rise of rifampicin drug resistant tuberculosis, multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, so accordingly the drugs also has been developed so as to provide better treatment for the patient. Next slide. So coming to the implementation of DOTS therapy in India, India adopted the DOTS strategy in the revised, so this was discussed before. RNTCP is Revised National TB Control Program in the year 1997. And the program created the protocol, what and all areas has to be monitored and everything. And by the year 2005, the entire country was given order to cover the DOTS therapy program. Later on, the National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, that is NTEP, now implements the DOTS strategy. So this has been very effective. So comparative reduction in the incidence as prevalence when compared to the previous years, India in the year 2023 has been shown to have a reduced rate. Next. So DOTS therapy. So DOTS therapy increased treatment adherence. So this short course, it's actually a protocol where it makes the patient very much involved or adhere into the treatment process. So this DOTS therapy ensures patients to take their medications correctly, consistently, and increased treatment success rates has been established. And also reduce the drug resistance. Even if we establish this DOTS therapy in the initial stages itself, we can reduce this drug resistance resultant tuberculosis. Then, of course, when we give proper TB, so their what is the severity of spreading of TB, an infected person, their severity of spreading can be reduced. Next. Now coming over to the recent, there is this India, Shri Jagat Prakash Nada, the Union Health Minister, in accordance with achieving the 6th Sustainable Developmental Goals, decided to provide even nutritional support also to accelerate the TB elimination among the Indian population. So the process goes like this. Increased nutritional support. The Yojana name is Nikshay Poshan Yojana. That is a monthly nutritional support for TB patients has been doubled. So previously it was 500 rupees per month. Now it has been doubled to 1,000 rupees per month for the infected person. And also financial assistance will be received apart from this rupees 1,000 to the TB patients annually of rupees 3,000 to 6,000 under this Nikshay Poshan Yojana. And this Nikshay Poshan Yojana has benefited around 25 lakh TB patients annually. Then the next thing is the energy dense nutritional supplementation. So the nutrition, since in previous slides we have seen people with malnourishment or undernourishment, they have more prone to get or receive this tuberculosis disease. So a nutritional supplementation, which is energy dense, were provided for the patients who are affected with that, and a separate budget allocation was done and expansion. So household contact of TB patients will also receive the nutritional support to boost the immunity and reduce the out-of-pocket expenses. So not only the people with affected with TB, their household contacts also will be receiving the nutritional supplementation. And all these has been released past in the previous year 2024. And this was established or released by Sri Jagat Prakash Nada, that is that our Union Health Minister. So this all comes under the Nikshay Poshan Yojana. Next slide. So since nationally we have this Nikshay Poshan Yojana and the DOTS therapy and the government supporting, and we have so many resources like World Health Organization, CCDC programs, TB stop campaigns and all. It is very important to commit together to stop TB. So once we are aware about it, once we are able to bring this awareness to other people, it is very important that TB spread can be stopped immediately. So the theme focus, that is unity among the government, the communities and individual working together, would definitely bring a very drastic reduction in the rate of incidence as well as prevalence of TB. So ending TB is a fight for social justice, of course. The WHO has claimed this quote also, and is very meaningful and appealing quote, as I could mention. Next slide. So even not nationally, the globally also, WHO have brought so many strategies to end the TB by the year 2035 to 90% reduction, and by 2035 to 80% reduction in TB incidents too. Then we have the Stop TB Partnership Program. So from where I have taken the statistics, where to mobilizing amount for TB programs from year 2001. And Center for Disease Control is also taking part and creating trainees in healthcare workers in more than 25 countries across globe. Next slide. So by establishment of NTEP, RNTCP, Nikshay Poshan Yojana and all, India has been reduced the TB deaths by 15% between the year 2020 to 2024 through free diagnostics as well as reminders for the treatment. And also in South Africa and Vietnam also, they have been doing the mobile testing units, and they have also reduced around 40 to 30% of incidence of tuberculosis. So that means an action taken. So our hope is getting strengthened, and an action is taken. When our hopes are strengthened, we can eradicate definitely. That is our sustainable developmental goal. Third says eradication of malaria disease and everything, and especially TB also. So definitely we can work together to eradicate tuberculosis. Next slide. So let's join the fight against tuberculosis. So it is not that only on 24th March of every year we have to create an awareness of tuberculosis. Each and every time when we come across and when we find there is a gap of awareness, we will stand up together and we will execute the awareness then and there without getting it late. So the 3 steps to commit is to get tested, encourage symptomatic individuals to seek care. When we, as a layman, identify a person suffering, we have to make sure that they go and get tested. We have to spread maximum awareness. We have to share fact, not a fear. We have to, so while I was going through the preparation of this talk, I could see one of the, a case where a lady who has been who has been diagnosed as multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, how she has suffered a lot, but later on she took seriously the DOTS therapy and received all the privileges of the government programs. And right now she is very actively present in community aspect, that is spreading awareness in stopping the chain of transmission. Demand in action, we have to urge our leaders also to prioritize to fund the TB, anti-TB eradication. Next slide. So as our theme says, stop TB, we can do it. And they have added commit, invest, and deliver. So commitment is very, very important. So it is highlights the pledge made by the global leaders at the so there was this United Nations high-level meeting in the year 2023, and the high global leaders have pledged to end TB. So when we are doing the pledge, so we commit to concrete the actions to immediately bring action to stop or to spread the TB. Next is investing. Stresses the importance of fully including TB response through diversified investment channels to accelerate progress towards TB elimination by 2030. So all the investment channels has to be thoroughly diversified in order to achieve TB eliminated globe by the year 2030. And deliver, very, very important. Focus on translating the commitments and investments. So whatever commitment and whatever investment channels we have identified, that has to be properly delivered to the person in need. So when we do such things, and if further research if happens in establishing little bit more early diagnosis or little bit more effective short duration treatment strategies, or any protocol which we can prevent a person from getting a TB, all can be further researches and trials can be done to prevent a person from getting or a person from eliminating TB. Next slide. So that's all about I could say I could contribute in the awareness session of World Tuberculosis Awareness Day. So I hope the general public or our YouTube viewers who are viewing have got a what to say wide array of information. What is tuberculosis? How to identify that? What are all the incidences or how much India is being affected, and the treatment protocol and all everything. So as an individual, when you are hearing this, I would definitely think that you will become a responsible individual when you identify yourself or a person dear and one near to you. So I thank JSS management. I thank our principal for giving me this wonderful opportunity to spread awareness on this World Tuberculosis Awareness Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Preeti. It's really a wonderful session. Thank you for sharing the valuable insights. So herewith we are concluding the session. So we'll meet with another topic. Thank you.